Hey then guys, welcome back to Invested Intelligence. Before we get into the analysis of the cryptocurrency market, I want to take you over to an article from the Financial Times regarding taxation. Crypto to be added to self-assessment tax forms. Now, what's interesting about this article is it illustrates two very important points. One, they are pushing forward with, more clarity on how taxes are going to be assessed when it comes to cryptocurrency. But what's interesting is that this is actually coming out of the UK. And if you see here, Britons will be nudged to declare any gains from crypto assets after the government announced it would amend tax forms and so on. And the Treasury confirmed on Wednesday that from 2014 to 2024 to 2025, self-assessment tax returns or forms will be featured as a standalone section for individuals and trusts and so on. Now, what I think is happening here is that the UK is trying to be the hotspot for cryptocurrency. They're really pushing forward and kind of taking the bull by the horns and trying to make sure that they are the center of attention, that they are the cryptocurrency sort of city in the world, in the country that's going to take this forward and really start to push for regulation, for clarity, around a lot of aspects of cryptocurrency that we've found very difficult to understand, over the years. So it's going to be very interesting to see how other countries react, to the UK sort of pushing forward with cryptocurrency regulation, and whether or not they will take that on board. Look at the UK for what they're trying to do, and maybe try to push their regulation along, try to push their sort of taxation rules and so on. I think ultimately it's going to come regardless, but it's interesting to see that the UK is at the forefront of all of this as opposed to the US, which is a very interesting dynamic. The other article I want to bring your attention to is threats to crypto have never been greater, but mass adoption is imminent. Now, this is something that is really almost on the cusp of happening, especially now with everything that's happening with, Silicon Valley Bank and Signature and some of the other issues that we've been experiencing, USDC, BUSD, Paxos, so on, SEC. Isn't it interesting that we almost get this sense or feeling that cryptocurrency is about to explode? And this is what worries me a little bit. I don't want to be the kind of constant pessimist, and that's certainly not my intention. But I was looking at the charts today, and if we go over to those now, what's funny is you kind of see this reflected on the chart as well. You guys know I'm a chart guy. I will always look at the charts as objectively as I can. And it's interesting to see that as price is breaking out here on Bitcoin, it almost gives you that sense of, why would the cryptocurrency market be running higher while all of this is going on? And there is a really strong case to be made that people are running to cryptocurrency because it's a safer bet. And that's a very interesting, sort of statement to make. How can cryptocurrency, one of the most volatile asset classes in the world, be a safer bet than traditional finance? Very, very interesting. And I think over time, over the next sort of 6 months to a year, we're going to see some very interesting dynamics when it comes to cryptocurrency and how that is mass adopted. I do feel we're almost there, but I'm still not 100% convinced, and I'm going to be very cautious. But this breakout on Bitcoin does look pretty good. I think we are probably going to end up here on Bitcoin by the looks of things, between 29,005 to around about 32. For those that have been following me and understand the analysis that I do, you remember I was saying if we break out of this consolidation and really sort of get above 25k going towards 26, it's likely that we were going to hit this number up here, which at the time was number 3 on the chart. And it is looking like that is indeed going to be the case. This is a pretty strong sort of momentum shift to the upside. Again, whether or not this is a continuation, i.e. a rally in a downtrend, continuation down, or whether this is actually a local bottom being formed, for me still remains to be seen. It's very easy to just look at this up move and just say, yep, this is the one. But, I personally need a little bit more confirmation. I know some others don't, but that's how it is just for me. And we can see, if I just zoom out just a little bit, bring it up here, we can see that this move up would be in line with a complete rebalancing and then dipping into this liquidity up here. And if that does happen, stabilizing around about 30k and then potentially dropping back to 28 would be, for me, a potential look point. I don't know if I'd still engage, but I'd be a lot more confident, right, if price runs to 30 and then starts to pull back a little bit and stabilize around about sort of between 27 and 28,000. But again, this low, Obviously, we're a good distance away from this low at the minute. I'll just zoom in a little bit. This low just here, if this is taken out, we're in big trouble. So, you know, the further away that we move from this and the more stable we are, you know, I think the better it will be. But there's always the possibility that we get a pretty aggressive crash that just comes out of nowhere through no fault of cryptocurrency. It will literally just be pure manipulation of the markets, which is still something that I've, you know, still got at the forefront. And I'm trying to be mindful of this as I'm doing this analysis, because I don't want anybody, you know, taking any advice on what I'm saying. This is purely objective analysis, and I'm trying to do that in a way where, you know, the analysis is as on point as it can be. So that's Bitcoin. If we just move over to Binance, again, you know, a little bit different in its movement to the upside. We have currently just jumped into, you know, this LP up here. This was the first initial run into this, and obviously we've hit this a second time. For those of you out there, you know, that follow classic support and resistance ideas or supply and demand, we're currently up in a supply area where we could potentially see a little bit of a pullback. But if Bitcoin continues to run, it will drag BNB with it as it runs deeper into this. And after that, there's not really much else. There is a very small area just here. I don't really want to clutter the charts up too much, but between 350 and 360, we could see, you know, a little bit of stability and a potential drop from there, but not dissimilar to what we're seeing on Bitcoin. I would want to see pretty much the same thing, but the weekly chart looks slightly more sort of congested, and we are still within this broader range consolidation, which again can cause a problem. Binance hasn't broken out just yet, and I always have that 1 or 2% in the back of my mind that says, you know, is Binance on the up and up? Is it as strong as we think it is? And if so, how can we verify this? You know, CZ does an amazing job, but at the end of the day, I've seen personally enough nonsense in the cryptocurrency space, you know, for me to warrant at least a little bit of caution when it comes to Binance, you know, as an exchange and as the world's largest exchange. So I hope the video finds everybody well. I hope you're all having an absolutely fantastic day or evening wherever you're in the world, and I look forward to keeping you abreast in the next episode. All the best. Take care. Ciao for now.